The last connective tissue that we will study in this lecture is the cartilage tissue. And the very important detail about cartilage is that it is avascular. So cartilages do not have blood vessels. And that was the exception I wanted you to know when I started talking about the connective tissue, that I said the connective tissue is highly vascularized, but we have exceptions. And a very important exception is the cartilage tissue. And since cartilage is avascular, it takes forever to heal. When we talk about cartilage, the main cells we find are called chondrocytes. The root chondro means cartilage and cytes means cells. So these chondrocytes are the cells that make up the cartilage tissue. We have three subtypes of cartilage. We have the hyaline cartilage, the elastic cartilage, and the fibrous cartilage. As you can expect, the fibrous cartilage is the toughest one, is the one that has the most amount of fibers in it. And we find the fibrous cartilage in the pubic symphysis, which is the cartilage that we have between the two hip bones in the anterior aspect. And also we find the fibrous cartilage in between vertebra, forming what we call intervertebral discs. So the discs that we have between two vertebrae. Another type of cartilage is called elastic cartilage. Now, as the name implies, elastic cartilage is the one that will be the most elastic. And we find elastic cartilage in the outer ear. So go ahead and grab your outer ear. Can you fold it? Yes. Does it go back to place? Yes. That's elastic cartilage. The same thing happens with your epiglottis, that it folds every time we swallow. And then when we are not swallowing, it opens up, it goes back to place, and then air can go into the trachea. So outer ear and epiglottis are both formed by elastic cartilage. Now, we have another type of cartilage that's called hyaline cartilage, and this cartilage is the most abundant one in our body. It is tough, but it is also flexible. And if you go ahead and you grab your larynx, so if you go and you try to touch your Adam's apple, and you try to press that cartilage, you see that it moves a little bit and it comes back. So it's a little tough. It's not as flexible as the ear one. So the hyaline cartilage is the one that we'll find basically everywhere in the respiratory system, with the exception of the epiglottis that's made up by elastic cartilage. So you can remember that the hyaline cartilage is the one that we find in the trachea, making up the tracheal rings. And also hyaline cartilage is the cartilage we find in the front of our nose. So if you go and you move the front of your nose, you can clearly see that the cartilage that you have in the front of your nose is not as flexible as the elastic cartilage that you find in your outer ear. Another place that you find hyaline cartilage, the most abundant cartilage in the body, is the anterior ends of the ribs, basically connecting the ribs to the sternum. And we'll talk more about that when I go over the skeletal system. Now, I mentioned that in the cartilage tissue, we have chondrocytes. These are the mature cells. But before we have chondrocytes, what happens is that we have a very happy cell that's called chondroblasts. And the chondroblasts are basically the fibroblasts of the cartilage tissue. The chondroblasts are the cells that will be secreting the extracellular matrix. And they love to secrete collagen fibers and elastic fibers. The problem is that as they secrete the extracellular matrix components, the chondroblasts become trapped inside it, and then they mature into chondrocytes. As before, depending on what we find in the extracellular matrix is what will tell us if the cartilage in question is hyaline cartilage, elastic cartilage, or fibrous cartilage. And with that, we finish the connective tissue. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in lecture. Bye!